Third spring in the books, hard to believe. Fun day, a lot of great competition out there today. Thought defensively, I think you saw some flashes of what we've been seeing on the practice field. Defensively did a great job, obviously creating the turnovers. That was probably the story of the day, of the defense making the offense pay for their mistakes. There's a lot of really good individual plays out there, a lot of players on both sides of the ball that we're really excited about. Went a little bit different with this format than we've done in the past. We went a little bit of thud today, which I know we haven't done that in the past much in the spring game, but felt like just with our numbers at some of the positions that it was the right thing to do to get a good mix of that. And we've had quite a bit of live already in this spring, so we felt like we were at a good point. And the coaching staff was pretty unanimous on that. So thought the guys handled it well. It's really been I think, very productive spring. I'd say just the growth on all sides, kind of evenly across the board, is you really feel that right now. And I think, today was a little bit of a representation on that. You saw some, really good moments from both sides. You saw potential from both sides. And, obviously, as as those guys that played today get better, as we get some of these guys back here for summer and then obviously for fall camp, excited about where we can go.
Lincoln, as you said, obviously, third spring and just with the amount of defensive changes and moves and staff additions that you guys have made over the offseason, just what do you feel like this spring game showcased as far as the trajectory of the program that you're trying to build defensively and the identity that you're trying to create entering Big Ten?
Yeah, guys did a nice job with it. Thought the coaches and players both handled it well. I mean, good defenses make things tough on offenses. Good defenses prey on offensive mistakes, and they did that. I mean, you take the I think 4 interceptions, and like 3 of them were not honestly horrible decisions. There's a couple of bad throws, a couple just competitive plays, but that's what happens is average defenses, maybe only get 2 of those, and you got to take advantage of it. And our guys obviously did a tremendous job of that today. So, no, it's been fun to see the progression there. Excited about what we're doing at all 3 levels, and obviously very excited about the way these guys are being developed right now.
Coach, obviously losing Marshawn Lloyd, Austin Jones leaves the running back position kind of open. What did you see from that today, especially from Peters? Obviously big game for him.
Yeah, we're going to be just fine there. I mean, that's going to be a good room. Excited. I think Woody's come in and been a good leader and a great example for the room. We didn't play him a ton today. He's played a lot of ball, but he's been really good for us this spring. I've talked previously about Quentin. I mean, I think Quentin is going to be a big part of what we do. I really do. I get 1 carry today and he pops it. I told him he pops 1 every day. So he's going to be a really good player. And then the 2 young guys, Brian, has certainly come along. You saw a couple touchdowns out of him today. AP ran the ball well. That's a nice room right there. We feel like we can play with all 4 guys, which I don't know that we felt like that at this point this early. We've got some more size in that room as a whole, which has been a big emphasis point for us. And as you saw today, all 4 are certainly capable of producing.
It was our first look at Jaden Maeva. How would you evaluate his play today and just really his progression through the spring?
Yeah, he's done good. He kind of like a lot of new guys. He came out of the blocks like really strong. He had a little bit of a lull in the middle of it, and then I thought finished the spring really strong. So I thought he did a good job today. Threw some good balls. I thought he settled in a little bit. The interception wasn't really a bad decision. It was just the wrong kind of throw in that moment. And DeCarlos made a great play on it. But he's getting better. It's just a climb for him right now. Like he's a hard worker. He's a talented kid. He gets every day. You can just see the wires connecting a little bit more, and we're excited about the room. I mean, it's Miller's had a great spring. Miller, I thought the first couple of practices were not quite his best. They weren't bad. They weren't his best, and then after that, he was really lights out the entire spring. Just steady, really good decisions. So, I mean, he's played at a high level. And then you saw Jake come in and do some really nice things today, too. So we like all 3 of those guys.
Coach, the secondary was flying around there to the ball when it comes to the passing game, but also the running game. What did you like about what you saw today?
Yeah, I mean, that's just, to me, another example of the development, I mean, it's plays that good defenses and good secondary players make. And we made most of them. You know, we a little tough to tell in the tackling at times when it's thud, but for the most part, it felt like we tackled well in the field. We made plays on the ball. We didn't really bust much really the entire day. I mean, it's a well-coached group. I mean, you got two of the best guys in the business that are coaching those guys, and when you have that, you see the results of it.
The defensive new guys, the enrollees who got here early, like a Cameron Fountain, Elijah Newby, what did they show you today?
Yeah, this was great for them. You can't replicate this for these kids. I mean, you're playing in the Coliseum for the first time. You're playing what kind of feels like a college football game for the first time, and so a lot of it for them is just getting that first one out of the way a little bit. And so you could tell early those kids were kind of trying to find their footing and settling in, and then all of them showed up and made some plays at the end of it, you know. So yeah, I mean, those guys are going to get better and better. It's going to be fun to see their development now that spring is done, and they actually now have a concept of what they need to be working on. Like, spring reveals so much for these guys, and it's like they can go into summer and train at a different level, study film at a different level, especially like the time that they put in on their own. It can be so much more productive because they actually kind of know now what they need to know, you know, and in the beginning they don't have a clue. So it'll be fun to see those guys progress because there's a lot of physical ability with that young group.
Coach, the offensive line played with tremendous physicality, cohesion, and communication. Elijah Page really stood out today. What does he bring to the offense that is helping the offensive line flourish?
Yeah, we're excited about Elijah. He played really well in the bowl game. We've talked a lot about his progression through the year last year being on the scout team. He handled it awesome. He really grew. And so now it's kind of that next step for him on becoming a truly consistent and dominant player, which he has the ability to do. So he's had a good spring. That entire first group, we've had a lot of cohesion this spring. We've been able to rotate a few guys in and out of it, but it's been pretty steady. Both Elijah and Murph at right tackle have had outstanding springs. I mean, we feel really good about those two and the way that they've progressed. We've obviously, Jonah's, I think he's, like I told you, that he's taken to center, honestly, even a little faster than I thought he would. He's been tremendous. And then, you got Pregnon, you got Alani, you got Amos. I mean, that's a nice group, and obviously excited to get Gino back. So yeah, we like where we're headed there. I do think we're going to have the ability, it feels like right now, to move more people off of the ball than maybe we have had in the first 2 years. We got a little bit more mass, a little bit more kind of girth with us. Like we're starting to look more like you feel like the O-line at USC ought to look like. And so I think that's very exciting.
Deuce Robert.
Yes, ma'am.
So the receiving room, lots more opportunities with Taj and Brennan gone for some of the younger guys. What did you see from players like Mackay, Deuce taking advantage of some opportunities?
Yeah, they're doing well. I think all those guys building on the how they played in the bowl game, and not just getting their opportunities, but it's, the quarterback position is probably going to be played, a little bit differently. And I know we talked a lot about it after the bowl game, that it's, there's a little bit more, it's a little bit more traditional, and I think at times it can be a good thing for some of these receivers in terms of getting in a rhythm and just letting these guys make plays. And the quarterbacks we have in the room, that's more of their style. And so when you got playmakers like those guys, it's awesome. You're excited about it. They're excited about it. We have some weapons in that room that we feel like are going to give us an advantage every time we step on the field next year.
What are some of the biggest boxes you feel like you checked this spring, and then what are the biggest unchecked boxes as you move into the next phase of the offseason?
You said check box. I mean, it's always evolving. I think the biggest thing the thing I'm most excited about is the vibe of this team. I really like the team. I really like coaching the team. I like the way they interact with each other. I like the way they compete with each other. I guess the future and all this, what happens here in the next, 8-9 months will determine if we say it's positive or not. But it feels different. This team feels a little different than any of the teams that we've had right now at this point. So I'm excited about that. Obviously, the defensive install was a huge part of this spring, and really everything we've done, going back to the body weights, the scheduling, everything we've done is to make that go as smooth as it possibly can, and I think that's gone well. And yeah, we're looking to create competition and create depth at all these spots, and you know, I think the majority of spots that's happening right now.
Let's do one more.
How big of a difference?
The last time we saw Miller, he had an amazing game, 6 touchdowns in the Holiday Bowl. Comes out today, throws 2 interceptions. How do you just evaluate what you saw from him today, and moving forward, do you expect to continue a competition into the fall? Do you expect to name a quarterback, starting quarterback?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he made one bad decision today, and then I mean the one play. I mean, you know, he threw a good ball, and you know, it's part of playing football. So now he'll probably grade out. He'll probably grade out pretty darn high from the day. So we don't want the one bad one, but when you play enough snaps, I mean, it's going to happen from time to time, and it's good for him to feel a little bit of both. I mean, like, one of the things I was most proud of in the bowl game was when he threw the pick. Like, we came back and he was lights out after that, and so it's just part of playing the position. But he's been awesome. I mean, we're going to go back and certainly evaluate the whole thing. I mean, he's certainly ahead right now. Like, there's no, you know, there's not a question about that. Now, you know, Jaden's improving rapidly as he learns it, and I think it's going to continue to provide great competition in the room. We've been really pleased with the way Jake has handled the snaps that we've given him. You know, we're in a position right now where we don't have to decide a starter, but if we played today, it would certainly be Miller. I mean, that's obviously that's not a surprise with the number of snaps he's had in this system. So all those guys are going to continue to evolve as we grade spring, as we go through summer, as we get into fall camp. Guys aren't going to be the same players as they were right now today, and so as that happens, we'll certainly lean in on the right guy, and we got several guys in the room that we feel like can do it.
Thank you, Coach Riley.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.